it's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, this is Ivy Slater, and welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. I am thrilled to have this female founder with me today, Emily Rowe. She is the founder of Female Rage Hot Sauce, a bold, small batch sauce company built on the belief that women's anger should be a force for change. With a background in media and storytelling, Emily has spent her career crafting narratives that have captured attention and sparked conversation. In addition to Female Rage, Emily also works a full-time job, people, in the press and media for the National Partnership for Women and Families. Emily, I am loving what you do. I have family members who love a good hot sauce, and I was so excited to be connected to you and meet you. So welcome to Her Success Story.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
So I have to ask the obvious question. What made you start a hot sauce company? Like, where did it come from? Do you like go to sleep and you wake up, it's like, oh, I'm going to bottle the hot sauce. Where's the backstory here?
Yeah, I would say if we want to go back to all the way back to the beginning, we're going to have to rewind to my time in college. I became really dependent on hot sauce because the dining hall food just didn't taste like anything to me. So that's where my love
That
affair.
is so funny and so true.
Yeah. A friend tossed me a bottle of hot sauce one day, and that's kind of where my love affair began, and we've been inseparable ever since. And then
So truly it came from you and liking and wanting good hot sauce.
oh yeah.
Okay, fair. Because there's a lot of brands of hot sauce out there.
Yes, it just became kind of addicting for me. The sensation of the burn and all of that, but it also added a flavor to my food, which is what I was looking for. So I loved that as well.
And okay, so there's the love of hot sauce, and then there's building a hot sauce and then building a brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people who go to the store and buy the local hot sauce. I buy hot sauce for my family. If I'm traveling and I see a unique hot sauce, I'll pick it up. So I get like the idea of like buying it and
Mhm.
liking it. But now building your like, are you a cook? I was like, okay, so did you start experimenting? Where did it come from? Like, tell me more here.
Yeah, I don't have a professional culinary background, although I've always been a major foodie, and my family and I have loved cooking together. And so in 2020, after I graduated from school and I was living at home, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I
Oh,
already had
2020 was quite the year to live at home after school.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
get you.
I had a lot of time on my hands, and I already had this love for spicy food, so I kind of just figured it would be fun to just in my spare time experiment with making my own hot sauce and just see how that goes. So that's when I started making the sauce.
So, like, tell me more, because I get it. Like, okay, the year of 2020, the year of COVID, so many of us, we learned how to bake bread. We learned we were online making pretzels. We were doing a lot of things in the kitchen, and we had like bigger homes and meaning homes filled with more people. I get all of that. But okay, so you started experimenting with hot sauce, but then COVID kind of dissipates. You go back to a busy life. Like, what happened? Where did this brand, right, Female Rage, start, and that you actually started bottling and making this happen?
Yes. So I started in 2020 when I started making the sauce. Amidst all of this, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, which
Yes.
just ignited so much more anger and frustration in me. And that's where
That
the
is
name
so
Female
sad.
Rage came from. Yeah, it was devastating. And I was really outraged at the response to filling her seat. And the best way I could describe it is I was filled with female rage. So that
Okay.
became the name for the sauce. And then for a few years, I was making the sauce in the background. It was just a hobby. And then in 2022, after the Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade, I
Yep.
again was faced with a lot of frustration and anger. And I decided to just throw a party in my backyard and raise money for abortion funds. And
Yeah.
I invited friends. I called it hot dogs for abortions. I asked everyone to donate 20 bucks at the door, thinking we'll raise maybe $500. And we ended up raising across two parties $5,000.
Wow.
Yes.
You
And
could throw a party and
yeah, I
you
can.
could move people.
Yeah, so that experience kind of made me realize, okay, I'm really good at organizing people around a cause, and I have this hot sauce that I make, and maybe I could turn this into a business, embed my passion for social impact into it, keep raising money
Okay.
for abortion funds. I've done it before, and that's why I kind of took everything seriously
Well,
and was like,
yeah, that all of a
do
sudden
it.
turns into a vision that you start putting action steps behind.
So that was the catalyst moment for, me realizing I'm going to make a business out of this. And it has grown exponentially every year after. I got a cottage food license, which let me sell at farmers markets, and I kind
Great.
of built a good customer base up there. And then last summer, I was able to get a business license and move to a commercial kitchen, which has allowed me
Fantastic.
to sell in retail and grocery stores. And every day just gets bigger and bigger.
So, where you aligned the original vision was aligning it with something to make a difference. So, where are we with that, and what are you doing about it?
I give a portion of, I donate every quarter to abortion funds, mostly the DC Abortion Fund, because that's where I'm based. And I also source the majority of my produce locally from women-owned farms. And I really like to frame things as, I'm sourcing from my community and I'm uplifting my local farmers. And then I'm also cycling some of that money back into my community by
Yeah.
helping people access really important healthcare. So it's this cyclical thing of highlighting people from the community and then giving back to them in a way, which I'm really proud of.
What has surprised you in this journey?
You know, this might be a cliche answer, but it's hard. Running a business is really hard, and especially with a food business, there's so many things that go into it. It's very capital heavy. I'm not just selling a service, I'm selling a product, and with that comes bottles and labels and caps and shrink wrap, and there's just so many things that go into it that you can imagine running a business is hard, but until you're actually doing it, you have no idea what it takes.
And okay, so you're learning, you're getting an MBA doctorate and then some
Yeah.
on how to be a CEO of how to run a business, how to figure out scaling a company, and then how to be a CEO all at the same time.
Yes.
How are you doing this all with full time? So, there's so many things written. And I mean, I know I did this. Be you keep your full-time day job, right? As you build your side hustle. And and there's so many studies on, reinvesting and how you scale. It might seem a little slower, but the effect. And I'll tell you, I ran my old printing company for the first 2 years. I owned Slater Success and started scaling it. Um, Talking about it, reading about it is one thing. Navigating it and doing it is a whole different thing. How have you managed to do both and actually make it happen?
Well, I've definitely had to sacrifice a lot of things, socially with my, going out with my friends, and I have my time is
You mean you do something else on Saturday nights?
yes, I'm up labeling bottles for hours. And, my time is so precious. I wake up even earlier in the morning before my 9 to 5. That's when I'm answering emails for Female Rage. I'm planning for markets, running my social media, and then I'm using my lunch break to also, run to the post office, drop orders off. And then come 5:30 when my 9 to 5 job ends, it's back to work for my other job. And I've had to really pick and choose how I spend my free time. And, I like to tell myself that I'm making a lot of sacrifices now, but long term, they will pay off for me. But time management is everything.
Time management is everything. I think that if listeners, if you take one tip away, time management really is everything. Um, In navigating time management, I mean, I hate to say this, but and I will ask it, what are one of the key things you've learned? Because there's managing our time and then managing our time smartly, right? Because you say time management, and everybody's like, oh, well, of course,
Mhm.
but then it's managing our time smartly based on the priorities of activities. Like what have you learned from that, and what would you share forward from there?
Yeah, I was definitely going to go into, prioritizing your list of things to do because I have historically struggled with that. And I think a big part of also growing a business and time management is also thinking deeply about the things that you can do and the things that you can hire other people to do for you because things like numbers, accounting, all of that are things that I'm not the best at, but I also it takes me way more time to do those
Yeah.
things. And so I can almost buy my time back by having someone else do it for me. And then that gives me time back in the day to focus on other things that I am good at and that I enjoy doing. Like more big picture things like expanding into more retail stores or flavor development, things like that. And I think once you kind of realize, okay, I can't do everything and start to offload some of your work, things will drastically change for the better.
I think that's so true. I mean, it's so often we are our own bottlenecks, and if we truly want to grow and scale something, we have to get out of our own way.
Yes, 100%.
So, where can we source female rage hot sauce?
Yeah, you can go to femaleRageHotSauce.com. I ship all across the country. And then if you also go to my store locator on my website, you can see if anywhere near you sells my sauce. I'm in about 30 stores now from Los Angeles to an international hot sauce store in Bordeaux, France. So even if you're
Wow.
overseas, maybe you can find me. Yeah.
How did an international hot sauce company in Bordeaux, France? I love that.
Yeah. It's called Sweet Pepper.
If there was one tip forward you'd share with our listeners, what would it be?
My biggest piece of advice is focus on building a community. I think because I started out at farmers markets and really got to know my neighbors and the farmers I was working with and built this community, it has been a huge part of the success of my business and building really strong foundations, even with the retail stores I work with. I've built trust with my consumers, with my buyers, and that has helped me greatly. So don't underestimate the power of, your community.
I think that's a great one because it's truly through community that we literally can move mountains.
Hmm.
Emily, thank you so much for joining me today on Her Success Story. I love your brand. I can't wait to share it with my family. And more importantly, I love what you're doing of how you're incorporating from the early stages of making a difference and making an impact. So thank you for the human being you are and the leader you are.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
And listeners, this is what I have to say at this point in the show. Say it every week, and it really matters. Take a deep breath in. Think about one thing you can take away from Emily and I's conversation today. What was the one thing that was left with you, your takeaway, your aha moment? Write it down. And here's the important piece: create an action of what you're going to do with it. You show up every week with an action. We will, as a Her Success Story community, continue to move forward and accomplish massive things in this world. Thank you for joining me again on Her Success Story. If this episode was helpful to you, share it forward. Let's get Emily's Female Rage Hot Sauce out there into the Her Success Story community. See you next time.